Good morning, everyone. It's Feature Friday, and I am super excited because this is a turning point for Pagewheel. For those of you, many of you have been with us from very, very beginning, and it was a little throw spaghetti at the wall for a while. But I we actually this week was the first week on Monday. We're like, what features are we going to announce on Feature Friday? And I'm like, what the heck? Are we really to the point in this business that we have this capacity to not only push out strategic features, but then announce them on Friday? So anyway, I'm going to circle this date on my calendar because it's a pretty major event. Even though the features are like smaller features, but I'm really excited because they're things that you guys have asked for. So let me share my screen and I'll show you the two. Let's see. Let me find where I'm logged into Pagewheel here. Here we go. Da, da, da. All right. Okay, so I am in my Pagewheel dashboard. And so when you log into Pagewheel at app.pagewheel.com, this is where you're going to come. And one of the things, if you have not made a product, you are going to see this progress bar right up here. Do you see this 100%? That is a new feature. So prior to that, we didn't have any feedback as to your first product. So when you make your first product draft, meaning that you worked on a first product, you're going to see a bar that says 25%. When you have your first product published, it's going to go to 50%. When you have your first website saved in some part, you're going to see 75%. And when you have your first website published, you're going to have 100%. So this is really fun. It's working now. And so that is the first feature we have for Feature Friday is the progress bar on the first product, especially for those of you who are just getting started in Pagewheel, which will help you get some feedback as to, am I almost done? And I know if a lot of times we're scared because it seems like it's going to be a really long process. What's really cool about Pagewheel, by the way, is you could just keep saying looks good next, and you could advance really, really quickly. And then if you don't love everything, you can go back and edit it. So for those of you who are goal achievers, I think this is going to be perfect for you. Now so we have a feature for the newbies, which I think is really, really fun. But because we love the people that have been with us for a really, really long time, what I have to announce next is for you. And that is the ability to clean up your list. I know. So I'm going to click on my list. And for those of you new to Pagewheel, anytime you have someone opt in or buy something, they're going to be on your list. And you can then take this list and upload it into another place where you send your emails and stuff like that. But in this case, now you can say, okay, I'm going to just delete this one off the list, okay? And so you're able to choose the ones that you don't want to, and a lot of times what will happen is you might test your list you might test your product several times or have all your friends test your product to come in and check it. And then you have them on your list 17 times. So now you can go in and just delete those. And so it won't really affect the upload or something like that, other than they won't be there to upload. But just FYI, for those of who don't want to clean up your list, when you upload it into like ConvertKit or MailChimp or one of these other things, they're not going to upload the duplicates. They're gonna see that and recognize that that's one person. So it's more of a management situation on the Pagewheel side, because I know a lot of times, especially for those of you who have have opt-ins and sold multiple products, you might have 20 or 30 or 40 pages of lists of names that it would be just easier once you've gotten them uploaded to go in there and just clean it out. So, all right. Any questions today?
Holly, real quick, somebody asked me the other day and I only have done it once, so I can't remember exactly how to do it. show how we record the page turning in the book
I
and
love
make
that.
it into a thing. Like,
All right.
that's really cool.
That is, so what
And
I'm
I've
gonna
only done it once and it like took me a minute to figure it out because I don't know, I guess I'm not as bright as I say I am.
And now you forgot.
now you forgot. Yeah, you slept since then. How dare you? So you can, what you're going to do is go to kind of I always think about it as that in-between stage between the product and the website. So you actually have to go into a product that you've already done. So let's do this Easy Blog Basics 101. I'm not going to change anything in the product. So I'm just going to put looks good next on all these questions until we get to the screen that I'm looking for. So I'm skipping through this, I'm skipping through this until I get to this. So this is the one I'm looking for. And what we're talking about is this right here, this ability to just flip through the book is a really cool little video that you could make for social media. We turned them into GIFs that we put into blog posts, which is really, it turned out really fun. So what I've done in the past is you want to get a screen recorder. So I'm on a Mac, so I use QuickTime. And what you do is you hit the screen record, and then it will ask you to select a certain space on your there's a ton of different programs that do this, by the way. It doesn't have to be
Well,
QuickTime.
does Loom do a selection or can Loom only do?
I think Loom, you might have to edit down Loom.
The only way I know to screen record is
yeah,
Loom.
let me see if Loom will let me.
I believe you can choose an area.
Excuse me. I use the snipping tool.
Uh-huh.
And you know how you can just snip part and get a picture?
Yeah,
Well, you can also snip part. You can use the snipping part and create a video.
there you go.
Oh, I see. You can do that. Okay. I didn't know it did video.
Yeah,
Thanks.
so I don't know if you can see this, but Loom only allows you to do a full screen. But like the other thing is you could do the whole screen and then just upload it to an editor real quick. It
Like CapCut, and then you can cut it down.
Or
Okay.
even like PicMonkey, Canva probably does it. We're not talking about high level, frame by frame editing here. We're
Sure.
talking about just taking it down.
Okay.
So,
But if you use the snipping tool in PC, then you can just snip that area. You can just draw a box around that area and then flip
Yeah.
the book. And you don't have to have all the other parts, and you don't have to edit. It just does it right there.
So the reason why we actually put this feature in Pagewheel is that prior to creating Pagewheel, Rachel and I used to when we made a digital product, we would make a flip book, which is another software, put those basically it looked just like this. And then we would screen record us flipping through the product like that. Really effective way to show value. And you could eventually there'll be ways to use this in different ways too. So this is something that is just part of what automatically happens with Pagewheel. So please use this because it's something that you could pull together a little video in less than a couple minutes. Especially the first one may take you 10 minutes to figure it all out. And then after that, it's literally, less than a minute to get it screen shared.
Or April, if you're like me, you have people for that.
There you go.
I don't have people yet, Sean.
Right. Well, and you don't have to worry about paying, the cost of having someone else do it because your product is going to be so amazing.
It really does help conversions because it's a really, the world is like always looking for something that catches their eye, and flipping through a book is kind of like an unboxing to a certain extent, is people are like mesmerized by what's next. So I think it's really cool.
Right.
Trying to read
I
it.
actually have my daughter do it.
I do trading power. I could take one of your books and you could share it with me and I can make it into
There you go. Lana's ready to barter, guys. So
There we go.
take her
Right
up
on.
on
Yeah, I've
Annette,
got people.
what question do you have today?
You know that share to your account thing, you know?
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
I had a very hard time with I'm a newbie and I
That's
had a
great.
hard time with my trying it out,
Mhm.
and I wanted to ask some specific questions.
Sure.
When I have my product list and I select the cover, the actual cover doesn't show up in the product list. Is that right? I
It
don't know
sh-
why.
Yeah, it shouldn't
There's
do
a
that.
just random population of many of the page of the covers, and
Okay.
it's so confusing.
Yeah. So let me explain what could be happening in that the if you go through and you're creating a product that you didn't select a cover for, or you're in the middle of a product, or you duplicate a product in midstream, then a lot of times Pagewheel is just going to assign it a cover and a name. It
I
might not
see.
have anything to do with what the actual pages are. And I can't remember if it was you, but somebody I was working with in the live chat this week had that problem where they had multiple books that
Yes,
had the pages inside, but the covers were not what they had thought it was. So,
that's me.
okay. So what you're going to want to do is just click into that product. So let me walk you through what I would do in that case.
Okay.
Let me share my screen again. I swear, Zoom, it always hides the buttons I need the most. All right, here we go. So I'm going to go back to kind of my dashboard, and let's find one of these. So this actually, so this is one that is a product, but it doesn't have a website yet. So let's just go ahead and do that. And let's just say that that is not the cover I wanted, but the pages that I want are in there. So I'm going
That's
to
right.
click on the product.
Mm-hmm.
And then right now, if I want to change the colors I'm using, I can do that. So this is the color palette I'm using. I'm good with that. So I'm going to keep it, but I could change it right now if I wanted to. And then I'm going to
Okay.
say looks good next. And now we're going to come to here and I'm going to be like, yeah, I don't want, this is not what I want. So let's switch it out to, ooh, this one's fun. Vegan month of yummy meals. Yeah, that's not really what I wanted to talk about. I want to say easy family meal planner. If I want to see if there's a better title for that, I'm just going to use the little AI generation to see if there's something that I like better. If I don't click on any of these, it will keep the easy family meal planner. But if I'm like, oh, weeknight meal roadmap, easy family cookbook, that sounds kind of fun. Let's do that one. When I hit this, it's going to change the title to that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to take just a second for it to show up over here on my, and then over 30 delicious plant-based recipes for every meal of the day. I'll go ahead and keep that. And so this is, and then if I wanted to switch this to one of these other things, I could do that here. And then what should happen is when I hit this looks good next, it saves it into my product.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now I don't really want to do anything here. But I'm going to go ahead and add a website right now, just so that, so I'm happy with the pages that we have here. You can see all the pages that I have.
Right.
I'm good with that. So let's go ahead and go to this. Here you can see kind of where we were before, that you could do a little flip book thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Holly, do you see that one that's spinning? My books are doing that too. Like one thing spins.
Yeah, I'm gonna let them know that. I think it's this first page, and I'm not sure why it's doing that. So I'll have them.
It's not doing
that.
the colors right either.
Yeah, I think it's part of the preview at this point, so the actual PDF wouldn't be affected by
it's
that,
gonna
but
be
I'll have
fine.
them look
Okay.
at it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna say, and Annette, this is a really important thing for you to know. is when you get to this point, go ahead and approve the book. That doesn't mean you can't go back and edit it again. This is not a scary button. It's basically a save button that is like, hey, save it to this point.
Okay.
So I'm going to save it and I'm going to hit that button, which I feel like is a little scary, but no one on the team will agree with me on that.
I feel it's scary.
but don't, everything in Pagewheel for the most part you can go back and edit after the fact, so don't be afraid to hit the yellow button that take you to that next step. Okay, so now, in fact, let's look at this. So now you could download it. Let's download it and see if that first page is fine, like I suspect it is, even though it was, yeah. So you can see this is what my book looks like, and this is in the PDF version. I could download it and start using it right now if I wanted to, or we could go back to Pagewheel and then let's create the website. Now, one of the things I would say, and I'm going to hit this button because it takes just a second to get going. One of the things I would say is, even if you're just going to download the PDF you just made and not use the website, I would go ahead and hit that button, because it's free to you to use, and there's all these assets that are made within this website that you might use for social media and that kind of stuff. So
I see.
So basically the AI, that's up here in this corner, is going to take the name of your product and write a sales page based on Easy Family Cookbook. Okay.
That's amazing.
So this is our, and by the way, I had an About Me page that just had this beach ball picture. That's why it's pulling that in there in this product. But you could see, like, this would, a screenshot of this little picture right here would be amazing social media. It's kind of like that flip book where you can see all the pages that are in your book.
Yep.
And also the interesting thing is it does know that this is vegan. You know how the subtitle was vegan, even though it didn't say vegan in here. Now, if the AI had forgotten that, like if vegan was a really important thing to this, what you could do is say vegan, easy meals, and you could put whatever you wanted to that gave you more information. Just know when you hit this button again, it's going to rewrite the entire page.
Yeah.
So you're like, hey, if I just want to change a sentence, I may just go in and do that. But if you want to rewrite with a different emphasis, you could do that by just changing the prompt up there.
I see.
Michelle.
Sorry. Okay, I'm even newer than everybody. So
yay! Then you get the prize.
No, I'm a newbie.
I'm telling you, oh my goodness. Okay, so sometimes I have a tendency just to run because I'm like, I don't know what the heck they're talking about. Okay, what is it? I'm telling you, even Rachel, she talks so fast. I've just decided to watch all the replays.
Yeah.
But now, what does it mean website? When you're doing the website, I thought I have a website, and is it going to build me another website? I'm just not understanding that word.
I'll address that in just a second, because that is a really, really good question that I think you're not alone.
That's my question too, Michelle.
So I'm going to walk through this just for another minute, and then we're going to go back and define all the terms from the front end, because I think you'll understand it more if you see that. So
okay, but is there a video that we can watch too that goes through that?
Yes, and I'm going to make sure you have the link to that, and I'll show you exactly where. I made a 6.5 minute video that walks you through everything last week. It's the pinned post in the Pagewheel Facebook page, and then I'll share the link with you as well.
I just linked it
in
the chat.
Yeah, did you put it in the chat? Oh, thank you.
I did. Yeah.
Perfect. So you remember how we just made our digital product? We made our Easy Family Cookbook. We published it by pushing that big scary button. That's not scary at all. And then we came here, and this is the page 1 of your website. And your website is basically an offer page and a delivery page. So you see this up here that you could switch back and forth to from the to editing the offer page and the delivery page by just clicking these things. So what I want you to think about is like everybody's been calling it a website. I think about it as a sales page. So the first page of your website is a sales page. The second page of your website is the delivery or thank you page. And just remember, the sales page is that forward facing public page that people can come in, whether they opt in because you've set it as free. So maybe you're building your list, or if you're like, no, my cookbook, I'm gonna sell for $7.99. Or by the way, you can add any number down here if you want to. So I set a price now. So now it actually is a sales page as that front page of my website. Now, whatever I've done here, that thank you page is the private page. It's only people who've opted in if it was free or bought something because they gave you money. And by the way, you connect your Stripe. We don't take any, that's between you and Stripe and you and your customer. We don't take anything from that. So and when that person pays me $7.99, then they get to go to the delivery page. Let's put this back to free so that I can share the link with you guys. All right. So I'm good with this, even though if I was really launching this, I'd go put my picture here and I'd probably like format this a little bit. So I'm gonna go looks good next. Now we're on the delivery page. So this is that private page that only people who've paid or opted in will get to. So, and then this is the button for them to download that cookbook that you just made. So you don't have to attach all the tech. We know what you've made. And so this is going to deliver it to them. Then you can add, like, let's say you have a Facebook community. So what you could do here is ask them to join the community, and then you could put a link to and that is not looking good.
Yeah.
That is not how that's supposed to work. Oh, there we go. So let's put you into the facebook.group.com group busy. All right. So anyway, you could add a link there so that they could go somewhere else. A lot of people also use this for, like, let's say you're doing a live Zoom class. You could put like the link to the Zoom class. Or another use case I've seen a lot is someone might want them to schedule on their calendar. You could put your calendar link there and just change the language of, join our Facebook group. I must have a million tabs open at this point. Join our Facebook group, or, schedule with my calendar, or whatever you want to. The other thing I want to show, because I want to show this every time because it's so hard to remember, is let's say I wanted to put a video or a series of videos here. I'm just going to click on the text within the section I want to add the video. I'm going to put the plus button. And then all these things are things that I can add to that section. I want to add a video. So all these video layouts come up. I'm going to add this video, and it's going to add it to that section. So you could see how maybe I have this cookbook, but also I have a little video that explains about that cookbook, or gives, maybe it's a tutorial on how to make my favorite vegan recipe. By the way, just FYI, do not take cooking advice from me. If you ever see me doing cooking, you know that it's either really easy or you should not listen.
Ditto.
So anyway, but you have the ability to add this to that page. So if you wanted to do a course on that thank you page, or launch a series of videos, or do, put a recording after the fact in it, you can. All right. So we're good with that. This is basically what we call the metadata page. And this is when you share this, like on Facebook or Google will see this data as well. It will basically share that picture. Those places don't always pull that picture, but you can flip through and find one that works for you. I actually like that one for that one. And the cool thing is we're working on some more of these, but there's a bunch in here. I'm going to go back to that one. Man, there's more. That one. And then what you can do here is if you want to change your website's, your sales page URL a little bit so that it's easier for you to manage, you can do that right here. So right now it's called Easy Family Cookbook, but I could just do Family Cookbook or Family Book, whatever I wanted to do there. And then this is going to create my URL. This is really the only thing I would suggest you don't change after you publish.
How come it's got the MA0 right there?
Yeah, so that is new feature is that it's adding on a dash and 3 random characters, which allows you to name a book something that someone else named too. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So now all of us could have family book URLs because this random MA0 would be different for each of us.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I like this picture because it looks like she has curly hair and super skinny arms.
I know. Unlike mine.
I'm like, that could totally be me. You don't know.
So get your Easy Family Cookbook. You can also edit this if you want to. If you want to put a Facebook pixel or a Google pixel or a Pinterest pixel here, you can add that here. You don't have to. And then looks good next. Now this is we will send one email on your behalf to your new customer or opt-in, basically just making sure they didn't miss that delivery page. Because some people, if they're on their phone, they'll just kind of skip through it and then they don't have the value of what you sent. So this will give them the links automatically to go back and get to that delivery page where you have that product. But you can edit this. And I want you to edit this because I want you to sound like you, because in their mind, this is coming from you. All right. So you can edit, you can run the AI again if you want to, whatever you want to do. All right. And then I'm going to put publish here. And then this is your sales page or that first page of your website. So let's go to it. Second, I'm going to open up a new tab and just put that in there. So this is the website we just made. Okay, I'm going to put it in the chat. If you guys want it, you can opt in to it. But you can see what we just made in real time here. All of that, it's all live. You'll see if you opt in, you'll go to that thank you page that random video I just added to is there. And then you would get that email that I just edited very lightly there. So let's go back to Pagewheel. And by the way, when you hit that, like, let's get ready to promote, it's going to throw you over into the Pagewheel copy pack side, which has all sorts of lovely social media, blog posts, content created around. And look, it pre-populated my title. So I could make like a social, let's make a social calendar real quickly. A social calendar for that product that we just made. So if you're thinking, okay, now I have it, but I just don't even think, I can't think of any way to promote it, is go ahead and run a social calendar or one of these other, I would just spend a little time over here because it's just kind of fun. And so like on Sunday, I'm going to introduce the Easy Family Cookbook, a collection of delicious, quick and easy kid-friendly recipes that will make family meals a breeze. I'll probably throw that up with a picture of my kids actually eating food and throw that on Facebook. Here's some ideas, a quick weeknight dinner inspiration, maybe a picture of one of the recipes I'm going to throw onto Instagram. And so this gives you all sorts of different ideas that are related to what you just made in Pagewheel. All right, let's go back to the dashboard because I think it's really important to look at. So this is what we just made, the Easy Family Cookbook. So if I wanted to edit the product, if I wanted to change some of the pages, if I wanted to add to the pages, if I wanted to, I could upload an additional page I made on Canva if I wanted to. If I wanted to reorder the pages, I would just click into this and go through those steps I just did. If I wanted to go to the website, which is my sales page or offer page and my delivery page, I can click straight to here. So you're going to see where you can edit that sales page, offer page, and delivery page, just like we were here before. All right. Does that clear it up?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Sure, Sean.
That the sales pages and whatnot, including the web page. I have and I thought about when she says, well, I have my own website.
Yes.
Can you embed those links into that? In my mind, I would use both of them, but
Yes,
I
and I
figure
do.
the
So
more the merrier.
yeah, so let's say, remember that picture I grabbed of the product off of the sales page? Maybe I'm going to write a blog post about the all about my new cookbook. And I'm like, here is where you get it. And so if I wanted to click on your links, and so the website to share is right here. So I'm going to copy that link. And in my blog post, I'm going to say, this is where you buy my cookbook. And you can go, or this is where you can opt in to get my cookbook. And you'll just use that link and send them over to this sales page if you want to do that. Let me show you on, let me see if I can pull this. This is my blog, Kids Activities blog. And I think it's still named Busy. Okay, so this, let me give you, so this category is all sorts of things I made with what was Busy, now Pagewheel, and I have on my blog. In this case, you can see, let's look into, this one is probably a good one. You can see that, guess where I got that image? It was it was a screenshot from one of the images. Guess where? That's just a picture of the PDF.
Oh.
The picture of the PDF. There's the picture, one of the other pictures, I just used that. And in this case, because I already have a very robust opt-in system on Kids Activities blog, I took that PDF and put it into my existing opt-in system. But I could have easily made this just go to that sales page. You know what I mean? So it's really mix and match what you want to do and what works best for you.
Okay.
So we could easily, like everybody on Instagram that's brand new and is doing all the resale courses kind of people, and they're all using Standstore, which is another expense. We can have something like a Standstore on our blogs, right?
Yes. Yes.
Like I did aprilbrum.com/learn, and it literally has a picture of every one of my products on it.
Yes. So,
Okay.
I mean, that's basically what you saw in that category page so I did this for myself, just to keep track of these things, so I could, because I'm using them for demos and stuff like that. But it's really nice also because I could just be sending people straight here. If you're like, hey, do you want, some of the resources I've already created for you? Here they are. You could use this a whole lot.
Busy alert. There's a busy alert.
Oh, I know. It's never ending. We found like 3 more this week and I'm like,
oh my gosh.
One of them, like literally I had to write a letter to Stripe, like say, hey, help us.
Yeah, right.
So I think because the receipts were still coming out as Busy. And so I think we fixed that this week. But it's never
So our
ending.
Stripe is still good.
Yeah. Oh yes, Stripe is great. And by the way, I know that I had talked a little bit about how Stripe and digital products were getting a little bit murky. I have now contacted Stripe personally, talked to them, well, through email, let's be clear, and shown them exactly what we're doing, and they have said everything looks great. So we've been really proactive on that, just making sure, because I sent them like, these are the terms of service that we're concerned about that could catch us or our customers in it. and they said we're all in compliance. So I
Nice.
now have that in writing.
That was one of my questions.
Yep. So we're doing really good on
Yeah,
that. Now,
I think so too, Kim.
yeah, we are still going to be adding a secondary payment service because I just think it's silly not to have a secondary one in 2024 and beyond. So that will be rolling out in a little while, but that will be optional for you guys. Or you could choose between them from what I understand. All right, Annette, what can I do for you?
Thank you so much. Where would I find your 6-minute tutorial video?
Kim wrote it.
Kim sent, yeah, I thank you, Kim, but I don't know what to do because I just joined that group. Did you
So
say it was somewhere?
It's on the pinned post. So in the very, very
Pinned
top,
post?
let
Oh,
me
okay.
show you. Let's go there together. Let's see, share screen.
While she's looking for that, y'all remember in the beginning of June, like my push was like, I'm going to sell some ManyChat courses this month. I sold one 2 nights ago and didn't even know it. And it was like literally, as people always say, oh, I'm making money while I'm sleeping. Well, I really did. It was $7,
Nice.
but I still made it.
I'm so, it
All
looks
right,
so nice, April.
Do you
Thank you.
see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So up here in the featured posts, this very first one is how to get started with
Oh, I
Pagewheel.
see.
And
Uh-huh.
this is that's that 6.5-minute video that will take you straight through it. Mhm.
Okay,
So
thank you
that's
so
really
much.
easy to find. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you watch it multiple times. And that's one of the reasons why I like, we cut it. My husband did some magic because it's about 9 minutes of content that he cut down just so that it would be something that you could scroll to what you want. Let me show you one other thing that could be helpful to you if you're just getting started. And that's on our blog is learn.pagewheel.com. And this very first thing is help me build a product. I'm going to click on, none of those links work. So this is shockingly that same video, okay? And then you can see below there's timestamps. So if you're like, hey, I just want to remember how to add a video to a page, you could search the page for that. And you would go down to number 16, 410, and you could just go to number like timestamp 410. So this just gives you like if you want to break it down of like into simple tasks. We are working on right now on the page on Pagewheel. Every single feature will have a how-to and a little
That's great.
video. When we have most of it completed, the strategy next is just how to link that and present it in a non-overwhelming way.
That is so fabulous. Okay, where is that again now? It says
So
learn.
I'll put this link in the chat as
Okay.
well, but it is on the front page of our blog, which is learn.pagewheel.com.
Okay, thank you so much. Just a
Absolutely.
really quick housekeeping question too. If I were making my product, how would I add just a blank page?
So let's see. Okay, there's several ways to do that. Let's go back to Pagewheel. And let's do that to our let's add a blank product page to our cookbook. So I'm going to say yes to, because these all look good. We don't want to make any changes there. So there's really 2 ways you could go about this, or it's probably more than 2, but 2 that I can think of. And the first one is you could, if you have a blank page that you have saved on your computer, you could just upload it as a PDF right here. The other way you could do it is go ahead and add a page. And probably the easiest one would be to add the info and learning. And add this one right here that just says a lot of text. And then what you're going to do is just delete that text.
I see. That's what I was ending up doing, and I thought, I'm wondering if I'm, breaking the law.
We haven't really thought about that as an issue. So I think that's probably the easiest way to go about it. Is just delete.
And it doesn't jam up any of the info in the back end.
It shouldn't. Like I always say that, but it really shouldn't, because like, I don't believe, we know that you did that. So let's go looks great next and see what that, if we have that deleted.
Blank page, okay. And then you said to save it and then put it in the PDF for future?
That if you, so that's a really good point. Let's see, this is like, let me just publish it so that I can go back.
When you're done with this, I have a strike question.
Okay. I'm gonna go back. All right, so let's go back to we've already done that. Let's go back and the grid view. It's still loading on here, but so let me go back and see if when we come back in, if it shows up. It may be fussy about it. Let's make sure. Okay, so there's your blank, there's their blank
Okay.
page. Then
Mhm.
if you wanted to say, hey, I want that blank page to be my first page, you could just drag and drop it up there.
Okay.
Okay. I think it's the About Me page that is causing all sorts of issues right now. So I'm gonna have them check on that.
No, it seems
Yeah.
to be the last page that you adjusted.
Oh, okay, that makes
Whatever the
sense.
last page you messed with, circles. And
Yeah, okay.
because
That
I haven't
happens
been
to
able
me
to figure
too.
it out.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have them look at that. And then so then, but like, let's say that you're like, okay, I want a blank page and you use this several times. What you can do is heart that page
Okay.
and save this page as a blank page, or whatever you want to name it. It's just going to be for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you let's say we want to add another blank page right now, what we could do is go into your saved pages list and put the blank page and it will add it in there.
I see.
Yeah.
That's great.
So if
Okay.
a lot of people use that for their About Me page, like if they got one that they really love, is that they may just go ahead and heart it and then they can pull it in. There is a limitation to the number of saved pages you can have. So that's
Exactly.
just the only thing you might want to be aware of.
Yeah, I wanted to add a poem, for instance, and I didn't know how to do it. So another question is, can I adjust the size of the font?
So if you're wanting to add a poem page, let's go look at that. So let's add a page, and probably the info and learning ones would be the best. Is you're going to want to come through and find one that has a text that size that you like.
I see.
So because what you're going to do is delete, like, so in this case, you could use the bigger type, like the subtitle, you could use that for the poem if you wanted to, or you could use that bolded, but you're going to delete the stuff around it.
Okay.
Or if you're like, this is just too hard, you could create it in Canva on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and download it as a PDF and then just add it to your book too. So
Got
there's
it.
two ways to do.
Okay.
Sometimes working within these templates is difficult. So you're like, no, it's like a 3-page poem that's going to take me 5 years to do
Okay.
that. So if it's easier to do it and just add a PDF, you can do that as well.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. And then the stripe question.
I figured it out.
Oh, cool. Cool. Anything else before we go?
You leave me
today?
alone long enough. I usually.
Right. I have a question
Yeah.
on the business side of Pagewheel. I mean, is there any sort of CRM recommendation or training or anything to that nature so that we can
So
really
what are
begin to
you
track this?
looking to do, Sean? Like what are you wanting to accomplish with a CRM right now?
I paid for one and got one and I looked at it and it was like looking at a bowl of spaghetti,
Yeah.
to my ADHD brain. But
Right.
and so tracking and the ability to do all the stuff with your customers, your lists, your everything pretty much, but it's just, I looked at that and thought, wow, that's going to be a learning curve, at least for me.
Yeah.
I mean, April, you get it like first day.
Probably.
But
My
For
my
me
my
too,
money's
Sean.
on Sandy, actually.
Don't be fooled, John. Don't be fooled.
right.
Um,
I found
so
one that was really affordable. I mean,
yeah,
it was a one-time fee,
right.
lifetime,
So
type deal. So,
basically, Sean, my advice, just as a non-technical person, is that I would look at what I wanted to accomplish, and
mhm.
then, and especially if you already have something that you've paid for, then I would go in and look, and they probably have learning
They
things
do. They
around
do.
that. So I'm like, hey, I want to make a list of all of my opt-ins, or I want to tag everybody that can, that has interacted with this thing. So just start with one or two things, break it down into kind of minimum viable necessities,
Okay.
and start and learn that first. And once
Okay.
and then don't learn anything else until you're really comfortable with doing
Right.
that one thing. Because those things are unnecessarily complicated. And generally, like for instance, even with ConvertKit, and I have a list of 250,000 people. So you're like, I'm probably one of their larger clients within ConvertKit. And there are 100 things I do not use in there. But I use 5 and I use
Right.
them all the time. And I think
Right.
you can distill it down into, I'm using these 2 features, these 3 features, these 4 features, these 5
Mhm.
features, and you get really comfortable with that.
Right.
Then when something comes up and you're like, oh, I bet it does that, you're going to be a lot more in a better position to go learn how to do that.
Right. Yeah. And I felt like I needed something like that to be able to manage multiple fronts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You have your space for Pagewheel, you have
right.
space for I have one that I have integrated my brick and mortar
Yeah.
business.
So probably the first thing I would recommend you learn is how they separate lists. Is it with tags? Are you making separate lists? So that you can be really comfortable that when someone comes in on, on your ADHD, they end up on the ADHD list. When someone comes in on, you have so many things going on. You're just like us. That when
Right.
they come in, so that the first thing is they're being dumped into the right bucket. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Right.
And that then you would have the ability to send out an email to one bucket or to multiple buckets at the same
Right.
time. That's probably the functionality I would recommend you learn
Yeah,
first.
and that's kind of
Yeah.
the direction I'm
Yeah.
going, because even my brick and mortar, I have that bucket, but within that bucket, there's 10 different buckets.
Right. Yeah,
You
don't
know.
worry about the right now, like I want you to like go in an airplane and look down at it and
Mhm.
look at just big buckets. Once you get those big buckets
Got it.
situated, you may find out you don't even need to deal with the littler buckets, except for very specific things, and then you'll know and do that intentionally.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's how we eat an elephant, right?
Yes, exactly. Michelle, can
Ew.
you explain what you're asking?
Okay, thank you. I have actually now 2 questions.
Sure.
Did it show us how to add our Stripe account in Pinwheel?
Yeah. So let me show you really quick on my screen.
And if I can do it, anyone can do it.
So the cool thing is Pagewheel will not, so you could make a product, and let's go here, go to the website of that product we just made. If I said I want to charge $7.99 and then I push looks good next, if I hadn't set up my Stripe account, it would say, set up your Stripe account. It won't let you assign a product amount until you set up your Stripe account, and but a thing would come up and walk you through it. Or if you want to be proactive, what you're going to go into the dashboard, you're going to go into your account settings. You're going to come down to Stripe connection, and so this is my Stripe. But if I didn't have a Stripe, it would walk me through how to set up Stripe. And if you don't have a Stripe account, it will even tell you to go make one. So it's really simple. So you could choose to, do it on the side of the product maker. And by the way, if you set something as free, you never have to worry, like if everything is free, you don't have to ever set up your Stripe account. If you're ever going to take money from people, it'll make you put your Stripe account in. Lana?
Yeah, I was just wanting to see ask Sean what CRM he did pick.
It's Clixlow, CLIXLO.com.
Mm.
They had
I've never heard of that one.
yeah, it's pretty comprehensive, and it compares to, your, Jahavi or whatever that one is.
Yeah, Kajabi.
But they had it was like 230 or 250 something. I can't remember exactly. One time, lifetime.
That's nice.
Do you
Ever.
do you have a email program associated with it?
Yeah, it has everything in it. I mean, it has
Well, it already has email and all that stuff.
right. Yeah, and I think you can link like I mean existing like your chimp mail and other things like that.
I have ConvertKit.
I
So
haven't, when I started looking at it, I just complete transparency. I haven't, it like overwhelmed me. And so
That's
I'm like,
totally
yeah.
normal. You're
How do you
normal.
spell? How do you
I
spell?
clicked off of that tab, and and it stares at me, and it pops emails up on me. You need to take the training. And, and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I would take maybe the intro training just so you know what it does, but then I
Yeah.
would just really learn what you need to do first. And Annette wanted a little clarification on the buckets. So yeah, like in general, if you are just selling one type of thing and you have one type of community, you don't even have to worry about this, okay?
Right.
Which is lovely. Some of us have overcomplicated our lives. So for instance, I have kids activities blog, which has a really large list of people who expect me to email them fun things to do with their kids every day. But I also do high level blogger coaching. So you can see how I can't have them all on that same list. I would need to send them different information. So I have a list within my ConvertKit that is the what we call the kids activities blog list, and then Holly's business list. So those
I
are
see.
separate. But I can also, if I wanted to send an email, like maybe I'm speaking somewhere and I think it would be appropriate for both lists, I can send out an email and select both those lists within that, so that I'm only having to send that email once to both lists or all three lists or whatever there.
I see.
Yeah.
So do you like ConvertKit more than Keep? Or you don't
ConvertKit is
Keep?
much simpler than Keep. Keep
Okay.
has a lot more bells and whistles, and I'm a very simple girl. I will not
I'm
use all those
simple.
bells and whistles.
Okay.
So but Keep is more has like a CRM, like it manages a lot of different things. Whereas ConvertKit is more of just what we would call an email client, like MailChimp or Mad Mimi. So it's kind of a stripped down CRM but it works fine for me. Like I don't need anything additional at this point. Now for Pagewheel, eventually we're going to need a little bit more management than we have right now. So we're looking at different ones for Pagewheel, but for my own personal business,
Yeah.
I've been online for 20 years and I've been fine with just an email client.
Yeah, I'm hearing good things about ConvertKit.
Yeah.
So just to say again, when I post something and want people to opt in to my Facebook about something I've created,
Yes.
will the page will automatically collect those email addresses?
Yeah. So when they come to your offer page, your
Right.
website, and you have it set to free, they basically will give their email address for
Right.
access to that. And
Great.
then you're going to find that email address on your list in Pagewheel. So that you could copy and paste it into your email, if you just wanted to email
ConvertKit.
them, or you could download it and upload it into your email. Like if you had a whole list of them, you could upload them And then, or you could set up the Zapier connection, which is just a little bit more complicated. But that all those buttons are within your list. So you get to choose how
see.
complicated you want to go right now.
I see. Yeah, because you also have a Zapier button in
Yes.
Pagewheel. I
Mhm,
see.
we sure do. So,
Okay, great.
so yeah, and right as you get started, I would just kind of like we've talked about the whole time, do the bare minimum of what you have to set up. Because it's like if you have 10 opt-in today, worst case scenario, you copy and paste them into your
Yeah.
you know, if you have 1,000 opt-ins today, that's a bigger task. So by the time you have 1,000, you might want to think about setting up the Zapier and stuff like that. But when you're first getting started, if we're talking about 5 here, 10 here, 15 here, it's like it's not that big of a deal to download and upload them and that kind of stuff.
That's great. Okay, thank you so much.
So,
You know, I keep-
Sean, how do you
I
spell
keep-
that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Sean, can you spell it out in the chat?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Yeah, and it actually does everything from funnels to emails to everything. If I can open the chat, I will put it in there.
Thank you.
This is your first test on a Friday morning.
I know I'm clicking on it and nothing's happening. So
All right. Anybody else before we go take on the weekend?
I have one other question.
Yep.
I keep hearing people say MailChimp and this and that and the other. Which one do you guys recommend? I mean, if I want to, because I know eventually, I'm going to have a lot of people.
Yeah.
So which is the best one?
So let me just step back and say, first of all, the best one is the one that you feel comfortable using. So like MailChimp is going to be a little bit simpler. Aweber is going to be a little bit more like for businesses. ConvertKit is kind of set up for like content creators, and they all will have a little bit of a learning curve. But the thing is, Michelle, you don't have to worry about it because you can move that list. So if you create a list in MailChimp and you're like, I hate MailChimp, and you have 3,000 people on your list, what you're going to do is you're just going to download that list and you're going to upload it into the next one you try. So I've actually been on probably 8 different ones over, the last 20 years. No big deal. You can change them. Nothing is set in stone. So I would just find one that is inexpensive, especially at first. You don't have to have a lot of bells and whistles when you're first getting started. In fact, they're almost distracting. And then when you get to the point of, I need more, you could easily move.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I use ConvertKit. What do other people use here?
I use ConvertKit because partly because I'm in Europe, and if anyone has any clients in Europe, you have to have the double
opt-in.
The double opt-in, and some of the other ones don't do it as easily or as well as ConvertKit does.
I would
I
agree
use
with that.
MailChimp only
MailChimp.
because MailerLite was like, yeah, we can't help you.
I'm hearing ConvertKit's it's a 10,000 subscriber free, but they don't have, I think they have one automation or something to get people in. So, I mean, if you want to try it, that might be where to go.
Yeah, I did. They just, in fact, they're switching their name to Kit instead of ConvertKit. And so I think they just got a bunch of funding, and so it's probably going to be a much bigger company in the future. But they haven't had a free version for a really long time. So that I think I signed up with a free version like a million years ago, but they are a little bit pricier for what they do. But they've been really reliable and they have good deliverability. So I mean, if all things being considered, especially with the free plan, it might be worthwhile.
Yeah, a lot of people like it. I use Flowdesk.
I kind of hate all of them. So like, I hate them all, and this one I hate a little bit less, but kind of on some days I hate them as much as all the others too.
Can you make this easier? Come on.
I know. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for. Oh, I did want to mention. I put this in the chat as well, but I will show you. We have on the blog. is learn.pagewheel.com, which is the blog, /replay. Is where all the replays are from that we've had from all the
Hooray.
trainings. So, and please don't overdose on Holly.
Mhm.
But I think this one might even be, nope, this is a different one. So anyway, that's there. And that's where I will be putting this replay on as well. And I usually get it up within 24 hours of the, and most of them are Feature Fridays, is when we generally record. So I am going to do a little bit of editing on this one because we showed the list, which has some of your emails on it. I will erase that from the internet.
I thought for sure you were going to announce the Pagewheel production contest for a t-shirt.
There you go. Rachel, I never know what's coming out of Rachel's mouth somewhere. So if she announced that somewhere, you're going to have to tell me. I wouldn't be surprised. All right. Have an amazing weekend. I will see you later.
You too.
Happy
Thanks,
moving,
Holly.
April.
Yay! Next time I come with you guys, I'll be in a different office.
Yay, that's exciting.